Hello, Sophie here, reporting from under the peppercorn tree for the gathering of the living ones. I think I might walk. It might help me to think better. So I just wanted to persist, even though we're in lockdown. We've been in lockdown since Tuesday here in Adelaide. I still wanted to persist with my little gathering, my little expedition out into nature. To celebrate being a living one, no matter what the government says or does. And yes, so last week my declaration was against the fear of death and to release the joy of life or the joy of living. So wow, look at this river. We've had a lot of rain, I don't know why it goes down like that. That beautiful river. So yeah, it's almost like I feel like this is kind of a pushback from my declaration and those that join in that spirit and in that decision. It's like this week. Since then, there's been the lockdown. There's been extraordinary numbers of people lining up for tests. Record days of having the boopity boop in the arm, and like a real pushback against the very things that I've declared into fear of death being used to oppress. And then that sort of crushes the joy of life in people. And so I'm feeling, like it's a bit of a struggle to do this today. I'm just feeling a pressure against. So that's why I just thought I'd make a point of doing it anyway. And I'll report further along the trail. Okay. I'm just thinking about Jesus saying that my kingdom is not of this world, and the interesting position that we are in as God's people on this earth, that he's talking about a different kingdom, a heavenly kingdom, God's kingdom, so God's rule and authority where God's will is done. So he belongs to that kingdom. So he is representing that kingdom in this kingdom of this world, in the kingdom of this world. And the nation of Israel was set up as like an embassy of God's kingdom on the earth, to ultimately bring God's kingdom, the culture of God's kingdom, into the whole earth. But they got corrupted, and their first allegiance to God and God's kingdom became lip service, and they were attracted to what seems like the greater power, the worldly power that surrounds them. And so that you've got the situation where you've got God himself come to his own people, and they're even using the authority of the state to justify their desire to kill him, and saying that this man is an enemy to Caesar because he supposes himself to be a king. So they're using that line of reasoning that he's a threat to the state to inspire the state to dispose of him because they wanted to get rid of him. Because that's where their allegiance was. They had become empty as an embassy to God, and that was only an appearance only. But they had really sold out to the culture around them. And this is always a bit of a problem for God's people. And that this is what we're facing now. Is I can't think what the word is for someone who represents the culture within another culture. Keep thinking diplomat. No, it's like another word. But anyway, you know what I mean. So if you are that and you're in another culture, you are not trying to disrupt the culture that you're in, the guest culture, but you are representing another culture, and that is where your allegiance lies, to that other culture. But if you defer that and start following the rules and the ways of the culture that you're in, then you've lost your job. I've been having some really interesting conversations lately with people around the concept of truth. It's something that's always been of interest to me, and it's sort of like a bit of a family thing. You inherit some of these ideas that you're trying to resolve about what is true, what is truth. And our culture, our Western Christian culture, has gone through a bit of a crisis of truth over the last century or so. If we imagine that we somehow can possess the truth, we end up in error, because no one can possess the truth. You can't take hold of it and own it. Then you only get a piece of it, and it ends up as error. It ends up the opposite of what you're looking for. So all you can ever hope for is to be possessed by the truth, to orient yourself in relation to the truth, to desire not to let your own desires or the desires of others to obscure your direct relationship with what is. That's what truth is. Yeah, there was other things in my mind about that, but I keep worrying that I'm going to run out of space in my phone and it'll stop recording. So anyway, today I wanted to declare truth over Adelaide, and in relation to what the crazy things that are going on, the exposure of lies. That's what I would want to release, is exposure of lies and deception in high places, because that's why truth is important. Is there just seems to be such a lot of confusion around even the concept of truth. It's being used, like words like science are being used as tools of obfuscation. Did I say that right? To separate people from what they see and what they know, and to be instruments of control, rather than the love of knowing what is, and not wanting lies or deception or obscuring, like I said, not having the truth obscured from you for any reason, but being able to communicate a true representation of what really is. And so yeah, I would want to bind up over Adelaide today deception and lies and confusion and obscuring of what is, and people's perception and their love and their relationship with the truth, because that's what it ultimately is. We know as Christians that Jesus is the truth, so we know that it's personal, and that you need to love the truth, and you need to hate the lie, and not want the lie in you. You want to be honest, and you want to be true, and you want to be real, and you want to love the truth and desire the truth above everything else. So yeah, I just released that over Adelaide, that spirit of truth and the love of the truth, that people would love the truth and understand that the truth is life, it's everything. It's connected to, like I say, the word of faithfulness. So it's about love itself. It is about love, the love of the truth, your heart connection with what ultimately is, and not wanting to hide yourself from that. All right, I'll leave it there. I hope this was a blessing to someone, anyone. I just, God bless you, and see you next time.